The Galactic Council had deemed humans too soft for the frontier stations, too emotional, too fragile. Yet somehow, Kesha had ended up as the chief xenobiologist on Station Arcturus. Card 7. Surrounded by species that could snap her spine like a twig. The Ruin were apex predators from a death world where the gravity alone would crush most species. 7 feet of corded muscle, obsidian claws, and faces that resembled a nightmare fusion of wolf and dragon. Their society valued strength above all else, and they made no secret of their disdain for prey species like humanity. Kesha had arrived on the station 3 months ago, armed with nothing but her doctorate, a steel spine her grandmother had instilled in her, and a simple hair tie she used every morning to pull her long black hair into a practical ponytail. It was such a small gesture. Muscle memory. Wake up, shower, tie hair back, face the day. She hadn't realized anyone was watching. The Ruin delegation included 2 juveniles cubs, though calling them that to their faces would earn you a display of those impressive fangs. They were the offspring of Ambassador Crothy, sent to the station as part of their coming-of-age trial. Among the Ruin, children learned diplomacy the way human children learn to ride bicycles, with bruises, frustration, and the occasional spectacular failure. The smaller one was called Vesh. The larger, more aggressive one was Tarak. Kesha first noticed something odd when she found a length of synthetic fiber on her workstation. Blue. Slightly frayed, clearly from someone's uniform. She'd puzzled over it for a moment before tossing it aside, assuming it had stuck to her somehow. The next day, there were 3 more. Different colors, different textures. One was clearly from the Zentari ambassador's ceremonial sash. She recognized the distinctive, silver, threading. By the end of the week, her lab looked like a textile factory had exploded. Dr. Kesha, her assistant, a multi-limbed Quellan named Rix, chittered nervously. "You are aware the station security is investigating a series of thefts?" Kesha looked up from her microscope. Thefts? Decorative items, ribbons, sashes, ties, strips of fabric. Commander Vole is quite upset. Someone took the ceremonial banner from the Crothy quarters. Kesha's eyes slowly tracked to the pile of gifts accumulating in the corner of her lab. Among them, she now noticed, was a strip of deep crimson fabric embroidered with the Rune family crest. Oh no, she found them in the observation deck, crouched behind a support pillar, watching her with those unsettling predator eyes that reflected light like mirrors. The moment she appeared, both cubs went rigid not with fear, but with intense focus. "Vesh." "Tarak," Kesha said calmly, hands visible, non-threatening. The universal language of, "I'm not going to hurt you. Please don't eat me. We need to talk." The smaller one, Vesh, made a sound like grinding stones, the Ruin equivalent of a nervous laugh. Tarak simply stared, unblinking. "The ribbons," Kesha continued. "The fabric you've been bringing me. Where did you get them?" Vesh's ear frills flattened. Tarak's tail lashed once, defensively. Then Vesh did something Kesha had never seen a Rune do. The cub reached up with one massive paw and made a gesture pulling back, twisting. The exact motion Kesha made every morning when she tied her hair. Understanding crashed over her like a cold wave. "You've been watching me?" Tarak finally spoke, voice rough but careful with the human words. "You bind your mane. Display of preparation, readiness." His claws flexed. "Warrior ritual? It's..." Kesha stopped herself. These were Ruin cubs. To them, everything had meaning related to strength, hierarchy, display. "Yes," she said slowly. "In my culture, we bind our hair before important tasks, before battle, before hunts." It wasn't entirely a lie. Her grandmother had always said a woman with her hair tied back was a woman ready to handle business. Vesh's frills rose, excited. "We bring you binding materials. Trophies. So you have many. So you are." The cub struggled with the word, prepared for all battles. Tarok nodded solemnly. Prey species do not hunt. Do not take trophies. We hunt for you. We bring you strength. Kesha's heart did something complicated in her chest. These apex predator children, raised to view her species as weak, had been stealing decorative items from some of the most dangerous beings in the galaxy, including their own parents' ceremonial banner, because they thought she needed trophies. Because they'd adopted her. Because they thought she was a warrior. She cleared her throat. That's incredibly thoughtful. But we need to return these items. Stealing is taking trophies, Tarok corrected firmly. Not acceptable on this station, Kesha finished. It causes conflict. Both cubs drooped. Disappointment radiating from every scale, Kesha thought quickly. However, in my culture, the greatest warriors don't take trophies from others. They create their own. She pulled the hair tie from her ponytail, letting her hair fall free, then tied it again. Tomorrow, I'll teach you how to weave binding materials. Real ones. That we make ourselves. Vesh perked up immediately. We learn prey human warrior craft? Yes. And then you can give your father something he'll actually appreciate. A gift you made. That's true strength creating, not just taking. Tarok considered this for a long moment. Amber eyes calculating. Finally, he dipped his massive head in respect. You are strange prey species, but wise. We will learn. 3 weeks later, Ambassador Krathi stood before the council, wearing a braided ceremonial band around his wrist. Clumsy work, clearly made by inexperienced hands, but unmistakably made with care. When questioned, he simply stated, My cubs learned an important lesson from the human. Sometimes the strongest thing a warrior can do is create rather than destroy. He paused, then added with something that might have been rude amusement. Though they did steal half the station's inventory first. Very thorough hunters. My children. Kesha, watching from the observation gallery, touched the matching braided band around her own wrist, the first thing the cubs had made, presented to her with solemn ceremony. Perhaps humans were too soft for the frontier. Or perhaps the frontier just needed to learn that softness could be its own kind of strength. Either way, she'd need more hair ties. The cubs were already eyeing Commander Vol's impressive collection of military ribbons, with speculation in their eyes. Some lessons, apparently, took longer than others.